how to avoid the two biggest problems when people shift into a ketogenic diet. See, you don't have to have keto flu, and it's not chance if you get it. You probably have heard of the keto flu. It's all over the internet, the awful symptoms that can occur when people start doing a ketogenic diet. I would prefer, and I think you will too, to skip the possibility of having these uncomfortable side effects and simply glide gently and easily into ketosis. So we're gonna dive into what that is, why it happens, and most importantly, how to avoid it. So there's two huge problems that often cause keto flu, and there's things to do to prevent them from ever being a problem. And I'm gonna go through all of that here. But first, let's just define a keto diet so we're all on the same page. This is where you eat extremely low carbohydrates, a moderate amount of protein, and a very high level of fat. Only when you eat almost no carbs, your body will start to make ketones, which is a very clean running alternative fuel source for your body. Why would you do this? Well, for cancer clients, not only will this lower the blood sugar so that there's not extra glucose in the blood that could feed a tumor, but also these ketones have tumor shrinking, health stimulating properties. To dive deeper into how this works, check out my video, The Number One Thing Most Oncologists Ignore. Sometimes when cancer clients get a diagnosis, they just dive in and go hardcore keto, and it can be very jarring on their body and create some of these keto flu issues. So what's happening? Why is this occurring? Let's back up first though and set the stage so it really makes sense. First, you probably know that when you're eating carbohydrates, your body then releases insulin to shuttle that extra blood sugar into the cells to be used for energy. Sound familiar? Well, here's the thing. That insulin also signals your kidneys to recycle sodium. So if your insulin suddenly starts to lower, like if you jump into keto all of a sudden, you're not going to be keeping and retaining the sodium in an appropriate way. So when your sodium gets flushed out by those kidneys, that can create some of these symptoms such as lightheadedness, especially when you're getting up from standing or sitting, dizziness, having some maybe cramping in your muscles, irregular heartbeats, even things like mental confusion, fatigue, and weakness. And these can be a really big deal. They're not fun to deal with, and we don't want any of this. There can be some other subtle symptoms, but if you start to notice any of these things, take some electrolytes. Better yet, take them when you're starting to cut your carbs and go keto in order to prevent it in the first place. So stay hydrated. Now, that's not just drinking water, because you want to have the minerals to actually absorb the water, those electrolytes, which is really important. You're replacing the sodium that's being dumped when you reduce your insulin levels. And this can kind of scare people sometimes because they've grown up hearing salt is bad, but the carbs that make your insulin go up and then make you retain salt, that's the problem. And I want to say real quick here that your body acclimates to this new level of insulin and carbohydrate intake, and you won't need to keep supplementing all the time. Especially with this transition though, it's key. Check out my hydration video for more on electrolytes and dosing. Okay, so now you can do this in several ways. You can take extra electrolytes and salt to help prevent this from happening, or you can just salt your food more. And with that, I mean using colored salt. So if it's white, it's been processed, and you want those other minerals not to be processed out. You want them in there, not just the sodium chloride. So get the pink Himalayan salt, the Redmond real salt, the Celtic sea salt. Any of those are fantastic, but notice they're not white. You can just take a glass of water and put your salt in there directly, or you can buy electrolyte drinks. There are lots on the market. One thing I'll say is that you want to watch out for the sweeteners though in those. This is for a ketogenic diet, right? So you don't want to have sugar in your electrolyte drinks, which is why things like Gatorade would be a hard no. You also don't want any of the artificial sweeteners like aspartame or sucralose. Remember, those are known carcinogens. And if you didn't pick up on it yet, this is about doing a clean ketogenic diet for cancer, not a toxin-loaded keto. So we want to check the ingredients with our electrolytes. And my favorite, I'm not making any money off of this recommendation, but I love 𝐖𝐡𝐚𝐭. They have lots of yummy flavors, and they have a higher level of potassium, so it doesn't have as much of the salty taste. And when you're doing a ketogenic diet, you tend to not get as much potassium. That's the one thing that you want to watch because potassium is usually found in carbohydrate foods. So you're kind of killing a whole bunch of birds with one stone here, and it tastes good, which when you're doing keto, it's nice to have something fun when you're shifting away from potentially sweet treats. You want to find what works for you, so try different things and see what you like. But now you know the science of why, so you can take action and prevent these specific symptoms of electrolyte imbalances. Okay, let's get to the other thing that commonly goes wrong when starting keto: fat maldigestion. This is when you're not digesting your fat well. Think about this. When you all of a sudden greatly increase your fat consumption, especially if you maybe weren't digesting it well prior or had a history of gallbladder removal or just issues, and this is super common to have fat digestion or gallbladder issues nowadays. Now, the most common symptom with poor fat digestion is nausea. You may feel nauseous after a meal. You may feel nauseous just thinking about a meal that's going to be high fat because your body knows it's not going to digest that fat well. Sometimes you're just repulsed by the fat. Often people may get some gas, indigestion. They may be tired because, they're not getting the energy they need because the fat's not digesting. If this was going on prior to upping your fat levels, you may also have seen things such as dry skin, gallbladder issues, skin rashes, diarrhea, very light or white colored stool. It's a sign that the fat's in the stool because the fat you eat is not digesting and being absorbed. You'll also need fat to digest your fat-soluble vitamins. So sometimes you'll see that you have low vitamin D levels on things like your blood work. So if you don't have a gallbladder, you can still do keto, no problem. I've worked with so many people without gallbladders that do great on keto. You just have to be a little bit more intentional with it. And that means that you need to increase your gallbladder supports, those bile acid or bile salts. There's another video called What Your Doctor Doesn't Tell You About Your Gallbladder with more details, so check that out. If you don't have a gallbladder, you must take bile salts with your meals that have fats instead. And with keto, you'll want even more. But your gallbladder is there to squeeze bile onto your food, which then emulsifies that fat in your food and starts the process of breaking down your fats, which is so critical to a ketogenic diet. If you shift suddenly to a high fat diet, like, you read a bunch of stuff about keto and you're just like, I'm going to do it, boom. Sometimes your body isn't quite ready to handle it, and it usually ends up with some of these keto flu symptoms. So at first, just think about lowering the carbs, skip the bread and the muffins and, getting more healthy fats. And then gradually start tracking and monitoring so that you're shifting in there gently. Not going full throttle in one day works really nice for people to have that slow shift and not freak their body out. And then supplementing can help, especially if you have fat digestion issues historically or gallbladder issues, or you're just determined to go fast. I get that. So what are we talking about here? Some of my favorite fat digestion supports would be things like phosphatidylcholine, beets, dandelion root, milk thistle, ginger, curcumin, TUDCA, taurine, which is an amino acid, and vitamin C. And of course, coffee enemas. There is a whole nother series on coffee enemas, so check that out as well. Total game changer for most of my clients, especially those with gallbladder issues. So you're gonna get a multitasking effect with this. If you can get over the weird factor and try those coffee enemas, don't worry, I'm gonna give you exactly how to do it. Not only will it help your gallbladder and improve your fat digestion, but it's also gonna help with detoxification, which when we're talking about cancer, most people have some toxin issues going on they may or may not even know about. It's gonna help your liver, and if you're constipated, it's gonna help keep things moving. My favorite thing is that coffee enemas are gonna put you into a parasympathetic rest, digest, heal, zen place. My favorite aspect for sure. Now, for fat digestion, I love Dandy Blend drinks. Dandy Blend is kind of like a powder form of dandelion root that you can mix into a drink, and it kind of tastes like coffee. It's got a beautiful flavor, super yummy. And you can even mix fats in there to make the drink like a fat bomb for you. Eating beets can be great. You only need a little because remember, they can be pretty high carb, but you want to have some at every meal. So maybe a sip of beet kvass or grated beets on a salad. Often this can be tricky for consistency, so supplements can help, or augment. There's quite a few supplements that I recommend that specifically have these ingredients in them. My favorite is Bile Min, which is a combination blend of several of them. Okay, so 2 things to watch out for when you're shifting into a ketogenic state: electrolyte imbalances and fat digestion. Those are your keys to avoiding the keto flu so that you can do it gracefully and get all the amazing benefits of those ketones. There is hope, and I'm here to help.